Have you ever seen those wild disaster movies where California just splits off and slides into the ocean? Total chaos, right? Well, today we're diving into the real science behind that idea. The legendary San Andreas Fault. Is California actually on the brink of a big one? Let's get into it. First off, let's understand what a fault even is. Imagine the Earth's surface. The crust isn't one solid piece. It's broken up into massive puzzle pieces called tectonic plates. These plates are constantly, and I mean constantly, moving. They float on the semi-molten layer beneath them, called the mantle. A fault is simply a crack or a boundary where two of these plates meet. Now, the San Andreas Fault is a really famous one. It's a massive scar running about 800 miles right through California, from the Salton Sea in the south up past San Francisco. It marks the boundary between the Pacific Plate on the west and the North American Plate on the east. Think of it as a gigantic seam holding two massive pieces of our planet together. So how do these plates move? This is the key part. The Pacific Plate is grinding northwest, while the North American Plate is moving roughly southeast. They're sliding past each other, kind of like two poorly fitting sliding doors that get stuck. This type of boundary is called a transform fault. They aren't crashing head-on or pulling apart, they're scraping sideways. Because they're huge, jagged pieces of rock, they don't slide smoothly. They get snagged on each other. As the plates keep trying to move, incredible amounts of stress and energy build up along the fault line. Year after year, decade after decade. It's like winding up a massive rubber band tighter and tighter. So what's an earthquake? An earthquake is what happens when that built-up stress finally becomes too much. The rocks along the fault can't take it anymore, and they suddenly break and slip, releasing all that stored energy in an instant. This release sends out seismic waves in all directions, which is what we feel as the ground shaking. The spot where the slip happens underground is called the hypocenter, and the point directly above it on the surface is the epicenter. Now for the big question, is California going to fall into the ocean? Let's bust this myth right now. The answer is a clear and simple no. Remember, the plates are sliding past each other, not pulling apart. California is not on a tectonic seesaw. Instead, the piece of California on the Pacific Plate, which includes Los Angeles and San Diego, is slowly moving northwest along with the rest of the plate. In millions of years, Los Angeles will be neighbors with San Francisco. Eventually, it might even become an island off the coast of Alaska, but it definitely won't be sinking into the Pacific, so you can breathe a sigh of relief. Those movie plots are pure Hollywood fiction. But what about the big one? This is the part that is very real. The big one is a nickname for a hypothetical major earthquake of magnitude 7.8 or greater that is expected to happen along the San Andreas Fault. Scientists know it's coming, they just don't know exactly when. Why are they so sure? Because it has happened before. By studying rock layers and historical records, geologists can see that major earthquakes have ruptured the southern section of the San Andreas Fault pretty regularly, about every 150 years on average. The last major one on that southern section was way back in 1857. You can do the math, we are overdue. The stress has been building up for over 160 years. That's a lot of stored energy just waiting to be released. When it does go, the shaking could last for several minutes and be felt across hundreds of miles. So, what would a quake like that actually look like? The U.S. Geological Survey ran a detailed simulation called the ShakeOut Scenario. It paints a pretty intense picture. A magnitude 7.8 quake on the southern San Andreas could cause severe shaking across Southern California. Buildings, especially older ones not built to modern earthquake codes, could collapse. Freeways, bridges, water pipes, gas lines, and power grids could be severely damaged. Think about it. Widespread power outages, no running water, and major fires breaking out from broken gas lines. Emergency services would be stretched to their absolute limit. The economic impact would be staggering, potentially costing hundreds of billions of dollars. It's a serious scenario, and it's why California invests so much in preparedness. This isn't to scare you, but to inform you. Being prepared is our best defense. California has some of the strictest building codes in the world for a reason. New skyscrapers are built with incredible engineering, like base isolation systems that allow the building to sway and absorb seismic energy without collapsing. Retrofitting older buildings and bridges is a constant, ongoing project. And it's not just about buildings. Public education campaigns like the Great Shakeout Drill teach millions of people the proper response during an earthquake. Drop, cover, and hold on. It's about knowing what to do in the moment to protect yourself. On a personal level, if you live in an earthquake-prone area, having a plan is crucial. This means having an emergency kit with water, non-perishable food, a first aid kit, a flashlight, and a radio. It means securing heavy furniture to walls so it doesn't topple over, and it means having a family plan for where to meet and how to communicate if you get separated. Preparation turns panic into action. To wrap things up, the San Andreas Fault is a fundamental, active part of California's geology. It's a constant reminder of the dynamic and powerful forces shaping our planet. No, it won't plunge the state into the sea, but it does pose a very real threat in the form of a major earthquake. The big one isn't a question of if, but when. But humanity is resilient and innovative. Through science, engineering, and preparation, we can significantly reduce the risks and build more resilient communities. Understanding the science is the first step. Thanks for sticking with me through that deep dive. I hope this cleared up some of the myths and gave you a solid understanding of the San Andreas Fault. If you found this helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more science breakdowns. Stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.